We are live in the Santan Valley. Tom DiCamillo, Joe Carrero, and this is CAC Live. It's Thursday morning and a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and going up to about 150 degrees outside. No, just kidding, Joe. But it's
already 99.8 out there.
You know, you're the official temperature guy on these Thursday mornings.
Thank you.
It's but we.
You know what it got to out here yesterday?
It was hot yesterday.
You're not going to believe this. 113.9
on
in
your
the
property?
shade, in the shade, right outside the door.
Well, so how do you keep the studio so cool?
I pay the bill. That's about it.
Lots of money.
I had a new AC put on last year in anticipation of a scorching 180-degree summer.
That's what are you on, Venus?
I'm thinking, you know, with the global warming and all that stuff.
It's well, despite the global warming, and despite the heat outside, there's always a place that I like to go in the summertime when it gets really hot, and it's a library because the air conditioning is always really good. And today we have a very special guest, a fairly new employee at CAC, but she's not unknown to CAC because she was a student. Joining us is our new director of library services, Audrey Saavedra. Audrey, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
It's a place that in the summertime we used to like to go in the library because you do have to keep it cool because of all the stuff in there. Our parents looked at it like they're getting something educational.
To me like a great place to go.
It is. But Audrey joins us, and I think we need to start talking like this because we're talking about library today, right?
Yeah,
Joe?
Of course.
Absolutely.
I was just going to shush both of you.
We got the shush before, and you have a good shush going, so that's pretty good. But Audrey, let's talk a little bit about, before we get into the different services at CAC, and libraries have really changed over the years. I do want to talk about your history, because you're a native of Pinell County. You grew up in Coolidge and went to CAC. Tell us about your history in the county and where you lived and growing up.
Well, I grew up in Coolidge, Arizona, and as a kid, I went to college for kids at CAC. I learned how to swim in their Olympic-sized pool. My father received his RN from CAC, so it's really just, it feels like it's in our own backyard.
College for kids, I've never heard of that.
It's a program that's done throughout the district it's like a summer camp for kids, some different things. This year we're doing a STEM camp for high school students at the college. But that was one of the things, the reason we do those programs is to get young people to come and think, I need to go to college, which is exactly what you did.
Well, I went every summer when I was in high school to CAC classes, which meant I had to wake up really early and do a bunch of stuff that might not have transferred anyway, but it was a lot of fun.
And it got you in the habit of going to school.
Yeah, forever. So
growing up in this career of being a director of library services, did you have an interest as a kid? Did you spend a lot of time in the local libraries?
I did go to my local library in Coolidge, Arizona, but I didn't really follow freshman at CAC, and I spent a lot of time studying in the evenings, and they had just sort of had really bright, wonderful women that had the answer to everything, and it kind of just struck me as a cool thing. And they would say, well, do you want a job here? And so I started being a work study. That was my sophomore year, and I just thought they were amazing, and they knew where to find information on everything, and they sort of saved lots of money, and they were well educated, and I just thought that was probably the best place for me to go into. And not only that, but most librarians will be retiring, so there has to be sort of room for me. So I thought it was a good strategy, I guess.
It seems like a good strategy. You know, it's funny. There's some of the people I know, my sister-in-law being one of them, who thought about the career and loved and did work in a library when she was young. What is the appeal? What's the attraction that people do? It's almost like a lot of jobs and careers people like, or they do it for money, but there's some careers in library services being one of them that people just, it's more an affinity for doing the work.
Yeah.
And what is the appeal?
Well, I think you find that, one, you learn something every day. I mean, I might learn something about finances today that I've never learned, or about medicine. I mean, basically your whole job is to help people research, but you're not only kind of educating your community, you're spreading literacy, and you're enriching everybody around you, but you're learning little bits about everything.
So you have to be really a nice person to be a librarian as well.
I hope so.
And a quiet person.
No.
So then going at CAC really, CAC had a multiple impact on your life now that you work at CAC. But back then when we've talked to students, recent students that are kind of moving on now or currently at CAC, but it really did have an impact on your life coming to Central Arizona College.
Well, I mean, I would say I loved my professors at CAC. You could go and they would email you if they thought you did a good job on a test. If you were walking around and they saw you and they asked you about your paper, you might just go have a coffee with them and discuss how it was going and kind of iron out some details that you wouldn't have otherwise. I think anybody that decides to skip their community college and go straight to a university is just like using their money in a very different way. And I tell people all the time, why would you spend all that extra money? I mean, go to your community college, drive up to this beautiful little campus with great parking, and get to know your professors and make friends and finish it up, and then decide what you want to do.
Do you think the personal touch that CAC has with its students, and a lot of community colleges are like that, but especially the way CAC is set up, that obviously it helps foster success in students?
Oh yeah, I think it's wonderful, and I mean, all the campuses are different, but they're all just sort of beautiful and small, and you kind of have that intimate interaction with everybody. I mean, I promise you, in the next couple of years, I will know every single student on campus. I mean, and the other day, I was walking out of the library and there was a Gila monster, and I ran back in and I was like, oh God, there's
Called
a
the
Gila
chief.
monster, come back. And so everybody came out and we were like all taking pictures of the Gila monster.
That is really cool.
And we were freaking out because where else do you get that? I never got that in my old job.
Do you know last September, a Gila monster walked right up to about 10 feet from the door and stood there and greeted our guests as they came in.
But they're poisonous.
But it was just hanging out.
We're bigger than they are.
So we can just go around.
I
pay attention to the chief's warnings about the Gila monster.
I did get it and relocate it out into the
Did you really?
the park. Of course I did. Yeah.
So that's you're a brave man, Charlie Brown.
They're not that fast.
Okay, well that's good.
Just to let people know, we were not trying to kiss the Gila monster. We stood back and we took pictures of the Gila monster.
Well, they're very photogenic too.
So,
They're beautiful.
and you can add those to the library's website.
That's right. It's what the librarians are up to.
So, what does it take to be a librarian or director of library services? Because it's far different than I think what a lot of people had an image of when we were kids and going to the local library or going to the school library.
Sure.
It's really changed because of technology.
Well, it's really changed, but I mean, in order to be a librarian, you do need to go to school and have a master's degree in library science, and I know it sounds crazy because when I was at the U of A and I would tell somebody that I was going to become a librarian, they thought I was insane because why would you be here? You must just like books and maybe cats. Like those are the two the two things you
Cats
put
and
together.
books.
My sister went to school and got a degree in library sciences. Tried it for 2 months and couldn't do it.
And just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Does she have a cat?
That probably was the missing link.
If you put them both together.
Yeah, no, she had no cat.
I'm actually allergic to cats, but
So am I.
But it is interesting you said that because that is it's kind of a funny stereotype that
it's something that people do, and you're never sure why. 'Cause not all librarians own cats. I mean, for the most part, they all like animals, I would say, but it's not the two.
I've never really thought about that. Do they really? I think they probably. I mean, you've read the books.
That's right. It's the book on how to become a successful, happy librarian.
But when you're talking about that you need a master's degree to be at this role, talk about the classes. What do you take and educate people on what that is?
It's really about research. It's about making sure it truly is the organization of information, because you can have all the information in the world, but if you organize it in a poor way, then how can I give it to you when you need it? It's just like everything on the web. Well, it's there, but how do you know how to decipher what's good information? Because truly, the good information is stuff we pay for. And you're wanting to make sure it meets specific qualifications. Now, is it relevant and scholarly and up to date? And there are all these things that you want to make sure that people have. Now, at an academic library, you want it to be new and peer reviewed or accepted by people in the field. But students don't know that, and we have to teach them that. So when they leave, even if they don't go on to other degrees, they know how to find good information and how to understand what they're given.
Do you mind if I ask another question,
Sure.
Tom? So, kind of like if you get an aquarium book and you're looking up a fish disease,
Yeah.
you direct them to the aquarium books, but since about 90% of the books are all completely telling you something different, do you read all those books, or do you study to see which ones are the best ones to point to people?
You have to...
Or do you just give them okay, here's 40 books, figure it out?
Well, that's not really helping like a person if I just say, here's a bunch of stuff.
Here's the area, here's where
Have a
they're
good
at.
time. Now, it'll surprise you, but every single book, for example, I Just Love Coolidge, every single book that we bought in the last 5 years, I read about it. And that's how you decided in order, to purchase it for your community.
That's amazing.
So I may not have read that book, but I've read about it. I mean,
you
is
read
it
the
good?
reviews
is
and
it,
you
yeah,
read,
is
wow.
Is it for this target age group?
Right
you need
on.
to buy it for 8 to 12-year-olds. Is it good? Are the images junk, but all the information is really
I never
good?
knew that, Tom. I swear to you, I always wondered that.
No.
I really did.
It really, you have to have, as you go back and say, as you said, you have to have a background in research, and obviously you have to like to read, but it's really kind of, you have to keep up on the trends, you have to be knowledgeable, you have to make good decisions. So there's a lot of that goes into being a director of library services.
Well, it's kind of like I would think of a boutique, right? So if you need pants, any pants will do. Parachute.
Yeah, right. Whatever,
something
leather
with
ones.
culottes or whatever you want. But if you want nice pants that fit you well, then you're going to have to pay attention and give people what they want. It's the same thing in libraries.
And find a good person that knows. You're the best librarian I've ever met. I'm serious.
You mentioned something about an academic library. Are there different types of libraries?
Sure. There's academic libraries, there's school libraries, there's your public library, and they're all meeting a different need or a different audience. So if I'm at an elementary school, I have a bunch of 5-year-olds to 8-year-olds. And so my focus is different. So at the academic library, we're talking about people who are going to have English classes and communications courses, and we want to make sure that they're served. Now, the best way we can do that is figure out what they need by their coursework and what's hot and what's not. And if we're doing a good job, they're not going to ask us about things that they need because we don't have it. We're already going to have it. And we're going to publicize it and make sure all professors and faculty know that we already have it and things like that. So we're going to do a lot of outreach. That's what we're going to start working on really hard now.
Let's talk a little bit more about the CAC library, and you touched on it there a little bit, but Central Arizona College has right now, 3 libraries?
3. And
where are they located?
There's Aravipa, and then by Mammoth, and then there's SMC, which is up right in Apache Junction, and then there's SPC, which is right outside of Coolidge, between Coolidge and Casa Grande.
And those libraries, are they open to the public, or are they just open for students,
Yes.
or how does that?
Yes, taxpayers can go in and you can get a card and you
Wow.
can check things out at your community college libraries.
And when we were young, we were drilled into our heads about the Dewey Decimal System. Explain how libraries are organized.
Okay, well, there's several different classification systems, but for smaller collections, you're going to have Dewey Decimal. So you don't have like this big breakout, and that's mostly your public libraries. But for academic libraries, because you're going to have like huge sections on history, you need to be able to break that out and say that which portion of history. You're not just saying World War I, World War II. You're saying ancient history and Egyptian and ancient and modern. So that's the Library of Congress. So it gives you much more flexibility as putting a lot more volumes in.
So then do libraries, local libraries, CAC's library, do they follow a standard, a Library of Congress? Or
Yeah, that's what we have, Library of
That's what
Congress.
CAC does, and like that. So when you go to school, obviously you have to be trained in that.
Yeah.
Is it pretty intensive? It seems like there's a massive amount of knowledge just to learn the system, aside from the what Joe asked before about having a general idea of the books you're purchasing.
Well, I think because this is what we do, we don't really think about that. When you catalog books, this is the Dewey number for this. This is the Library of Congress number for that. It's not something we think about. We still have to look up. I mean, I may have a general idea where things are in our library, but we're still going to look it up in the catalog because there's a bunch of numbers, a bunch of letters, a bunch of, you know what I mean? And so that way we can show you to the right area.
So how do people look up items in libraries today? I mean, I remember looking through card catalogs. Now, do they go online now?
Yes. So right now, if you want to look up on your smartphone a book that we have or an ebook or anything we have in the library, you're just going to go ahead and you're going to look it up. You can do title, author, subject, and then it's going to give you a call number and it'll give you the location. So we might have it at SMC or Aravaipa or SPC, and then you're going to know where to go and find that.
So you could do that on your smartphone?
You can do it on any internet, anywhere.
Wow. So you don't actually have to go. If you know a book you're looking or a subject matter you want to look up books, you can do it from home.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm a CAC student and I'm brand new, and going to college is daunting.
Yes.
It's really overwhelming. So obviously the students are going to use the library. Mm-hmm. But if I'm a CAC student and I'm coming for the very first time and I've never been to the CAC library, what would you suggest I do? Is there any kind of orientation I can go through? Is there anything I can just kind of come and get comfortable?
Come in, tell us that you're new. We will walk you around. Well, I mean, if you just want to walk through the library yourself, that's fine. But we can take you around. We can show you our databases. We can show you where the collections are at. So there's going to be government documents. There's your regular stacks. You can always write a paper in the library. You can print it out for free. I mean, there's wonderful things that the library gives you, but we will totally walk you through any of those things. And most of the time people come to us and they say, I'm writing a paper on this. Can you help me? And we show them, our databases, and you can email yourself journal articles. I mean, just everything that the library does, we try to make it really easy for you. Now, for example, if you were in Santan and you don't have a library near you, you can right now you can call us and we can send it to the Santan Center.
Okay.
In the near future, in the next couple of months, we're going to have this shared catalog with all of the Pinal County libraries. So all books from any of these places can be shipped around, and you can say, oh, well, my public library is really close. I can just go pick up my CAC books at that public library, because we don't want to make it hard for you. I mean, I know when you're a student, sometimes if we say you have to call us and ask for something, you're not going to do it. That's just how it works. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad student, but that's just who we are.
It's just another hurdle that they have to do.
Yeah, it's another thing, and I have to write a paper, and then I have to read a bunch of stuff, and I'm not going to do it. So you can just go online, you can click on a request, you could click on location, and it's going to be shipped to you.
So let's go back. If I'm a student, I'm taking online classes, or if I'm taking classes at the Santan Center where we are today, up in the Santan Valley, I need a book, and I see that it's down at the Signal Peak Library. How do I make that request to have it shipped up to the Santan Center?
Well, first of all you have to do is go to a library in the CAC libraries and get your student ID card made into a library card.
That's the first thing they have to do.
Just get it made into. I mean, once you get a student card, you're golden. Go in and have it changed. And then you can say, if you were in Coolidge or anywhere, you can say, okay, click on request, and then tell it which library you want it sent to. If you're at home, you can say, oh, I'm in bed, it's 10 o'clock at night, I need these books, I need them soon, I'm thinking about my paper. Click on request, tell which location, and then you'll get like a phone call that tells you when it's ready, and you go in and you pick it up.
How long generally from the time of request to the time it gets there?
Since this will be a little bit new partnership, I mean, we're working with the public libraries and our academic libraries. I would honestly say you're going to want about a week lead time. I don't know if we're going to make it less than that, but we're basically putting two groups of people together that haven't worked together before.
This is the startup of it.
Yes.
If people want something at a center, how long? Still about a week?
I would say it's
about the same time. Now, if I had a book and I'm working in, say, Maricopa County, and I picked up a book at Superstition Mountain campus, but I live in the Santan Valley. Can I drop that book at the Santan Center? How does that work?
You can drop it off anywhere you want,
and it'll get shipped back to the proper location. And I noticed at the Signal Peak campus, I don't know if it's like that with the other ones, you can actually pull up and drop the books. There's a box, so you don't have to walk up to the library, actually drop them off.
Yes, and people have hit it with their cars many a time.
I've seen the dents.
It looks like it works. It completely works. But yeah, you just drive up, you drop them off, and then every day, twice a day, people check the book drop.
It's we're talking with Audrey Saavedra from Central Arizona College. She is the new director of library services. She's been on the job for, I think, what did you say, about 15 days, or about that's about it.
We're about 15 days in.
But at what time period were you at CAC before?
Well, as a student, I was there for 2 years.
Okay.
And then I graduated, and I went to the U of A for 2 years. And then I came back, and I worked as a nighttime librarian while I was working on my MLS.
And then you said you worked at the Coolidge Library. Is that where you worked? How long did you work there?
Well, I have jobs running concurrently at all times. That's who I am. We always say the Saavedras really like work, like we're crazy people. But during the night, I was working on my MLS, and I was being a nighttime librarian. And then when I was done with my MLS, I worked at CAC Public Library for, I think, 2.5 to 3 years. And then I worked at the Coolidge Public Library, and I also teach for Mesa Community College. So
you have the whole the experience in Pinell County. You actually have a lot of contacts throughout the county, a lot of relationships you've probably built with the public libraries.
I hope so. Yeah.
I hope so. That's a good answer, I guess. So I do want to apologize to the fans. Joe was killing a fly over here when we were doing it. Did you get him?
I think he did.
I did.
Okay.
It was like Mr. Miyagi.
It was like Kung Fu, huh?
Yeah, it was very impressive.
Thank you.
So when we come back, we're going to talk more with Audrey Saavedra of Central Arizona College about library services and more about the CAC libraries and what's coming up in the future. You're listening to CAC Live on CAClive.com.
This is Mike McCord. I would like to serve as your Pinell County Supervisor, District Number 2. With zero opportunities for error, I understand the needs of one of the fastest growing communities in the United States. This is where my experience and education come into play. I hold a master's degree in business administration and have worked as an operations manager for a paramedic service, as well as currently serve as the executive director for a public charter school in Pinell County. Vote for me, Mike McCord, on August 28th, 2012.
Mike McCord leading the way. This message was paid for by the Mike McCord for County Supervisor Committee.
Are you experiencing computer problems? Is your computer running slow, bogged down with viruses and spyware? You need a reliable and knowledgeable, trustworthy computer service company. Contact Computers, Networks, and More, located in Santan Valley. Get your computer or laptop running in top condition by a certified technician with 20-plus years experience and beta tester from Microsoft. Computers, Networks, and More provides repairs and solutions to any computer-related issue, whether it's software, installation, troubleshooting, updates, or tune-ups. You can trust Computers, Networks, and More. Contact Jeff Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. to schedule an appointment. We can have you up and running quickly, usually within 48 hours. Located in Santan Valley. Computers, Networks, and More. We're here for you. Contact Jeff at 480-729-8899. That's 480-729-8899.
Our family pets are such a big part of our lives. That's why Kelly's Critter Clips of Queen Creek and Sun Lakes has been providing pet grooming services for over 10 years. Your dog's comfort is very important to us, so we take the time to treat your pet with care, love, and professional attention it deserves. We welcome any size and breed and feature shampoo and conditioning, styling, flea and tick dips, ear cleaning, nail trimming, and so many other services that will leave your pet looking good and smelling good and feeling great, all at an affordable price. Located in Queen Creek and Sun Lakes, call now for an appointment, 480-655-5066. Kelly's Critter Clips. When you visit Hill Family Dentistry in Santan Valley, Dentist Dr. Tim Hill provides each patient with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Our entire team is dedicated to providing you and your family with services that will make you smile. With a full range of general, cosmetic, and specialty dentistry services that will keep you and your family smiling. Our commitment to our community is to provide outstanding oral health. Hill Family Dentistry is located on 36359 Ganzel Road in Santan Valley, diagonally across from Banner Ironwood Hospital. Evening and weekend appointments available. We accept most insurances and have in-office policies available for non-insured. Contact us today at 480-588-8127. Hill Family Dentistry.
We're live in the Santan Valley in the CAC studios. Tom D. Camillo, Joe Carrero. We're visiting with Audrey Saavedra from Central Arizona College, the new Director of Library Services, but she's not new to CAC. She's been in CAC a couple of times over from being a student and working in the library while she was going to school, getting her degree, her master's degree in library services. And but today she's back. You've only been on the job for how long?
14 days.
14 days? Wow, a fortnight.
14 days.
That's I learned that in the library, a fortnight. So, but we were talking before the break about the connection that CAC is making with the community, the public libraries in the county, and how people can take advantage of that. And one of the things, there's not really a library. There is a library, the George Johnson started here, but before that, I used to take my daughter over to the Coolidge Library, and we'd have the books, and my wife would forget to bring them back because there was nothing en route. Yeah, there was
either
nothing
that
en
or they
route.
were really good.
Yeah, but the connection that CAC is making with the community libraries, the public libraries, that's really going to change how people can service books.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you as a parent can say, okay, tell my daughter to have all our books shipped to CAC, and then while you're at work on your lunch break, you can come on over and pick up all your items.
So if for example, if my wife, we live here close to the Santan Center, if she finds books over at the Coolidge Library or library up in Apache Junction, she can kind of order them through CAC or whatever and have them shipped to the Santan Center?
Yeah, or the Maricopa Library or San Manuel or Kearney or
That's an outstanding service.
That is amazing. And by the way, if anybody wants to call in with a library question or comment, or, just a general comment for Tom, say hello or whatever, 480-745-1033 would be the number to call.
And you're listening to CAC Live, and we're talking library services. So it's really it's a great marketing tool for CAC, really, when it comes down to it, because it really emphasizes the community and community college.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just sharing. It's making sure that all the things we already own. I mean, all the taxpayers in Pinal County have bought all these items for everybody, and now we're just saying we're going to get it to you in your location quickly and as easily as possible. Do
you ever look at some of the trends of the type of information people are requesting, and what's changed? I mean, obviously, like this electronic age, and with online stuff and everything. But are there things that you see that really have exploded, that you need to expanded library information?
Well, for students, and as far as ease of use and people that aren't on campus, I mean, we do have ebooks, and that collection is going to always grow.
Explain what that is for people that don't know.
They can go. Basically, the way I would go if I was a CAC student is I would log into Blackboard and then click on Library and Library Resources, and then they can basically look at the ebooks that we have and do searches and find the stuff that they're looking for. But they can download chapters. They can, and do all of that from home without having to go anywhere.
Wow, that's amazing. I think we got a question.
Yeah, we got an interesting one here from Barb in Winslow. Do I have to attend CAC to order some books to read? I love to read.
Does she have to go to CAC?
She wants to order them from your library.
She can order them from her library.
She can order them from Amazon.
You can order them from anywhere. But if you're in Pinal County, you can go to any of the libraries.
I think her point was she's listening to how the books fly around, and she's like, well, can I just get online and order some books from your college?
I'm assuming Winslow, Arizona, which wouldn't be in
Correct.
Pinal
Not
County.
Pinal County. But I think if she goes on to, she should have an online catalog to see what she has. And if they don't have it, I mean, historically what we do is if we don't have it for you, we borrow it.
So you don't have to go to CAC to order a book?
No.
You mean I could go on and order a book?
Yeah.
You're a resident of Pinal County.
And it's free?
Yeah, you could go to Pinal County Library District. You click on the catalog, search for a book.
Oh,
If
it
they
wouldn't
didn't
be
have
from
it,
CAC, though.
well, you can do it either way.
Your CAC is what I'm getting is facilitating getting the books into the hands
Why
of
is
people.
everybody so up in arms about libraries around here if you can go online and you can just order a book and they deliver it to you?
Well, right now, if you said you wanted a book, you're in Santan.
Okay, I want a book on fish aquariums, right?
Okay, then you're going to go online. You're going to see what they have. If they,
Where do I look?
you go to Pinal County Library District. If you're not a CAC student,
Okay.
just as of right now,
I gotcha.
And then you're just like, oh, well, there are 10 books on aquariums. 2 of them look great. One's in Maricopa, and that's pretty far from me. So I'm going to put in my library barcode and my PIN number, which
And where do I get that?
you go to any public library, and you're just going to sign up for your library card. And then once you do that, you can put in your barcode and then your PIN number, and then you're going to click on request, and then you're going to say where your location is. So you're going to say, well, I want to pick it up at Florence.
Oh, the mailman doesn't deliver them.
No, the mailman does not deliver them. Right. No, he doesn't.
Is this Johnson
but-
Library? Is that considered a library?
Where?
I don't know if that's I don't know what the connection is.
I'm not trying to
with
be difficult.
No, that's something probably they have to explore. I think though you could pick them up at the Santan Center.
Yeah.
The CAC Santan Center is right
Okay.
here. That's what Audrey's saying is that you can pick them up
Gotcha.
at the CAC Santan. If you have a book in Maricopa, and whether you're a CAC student or want to use that library, or you find something in a community library, the network that CAC is building, that Audrey's helping construct here, is trying to make the books more accessible. They're not going to. The mailman's not going to deliver it to your home, but your closest spot right here is the Santan Center.
Last question. I'm trying to be good.
No, you're good. These are good questions.
The Queen Creek Library, you have to pay $50.
That's in because it's Maricopa.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, because you're a Pinal County resident.
Didn't realize it was Maricopa.
Yeah.
But in order to be fair to them, like if you bought 2 books, that's your membership, basically for a year. So then you could have access to hundreds of books and DVDs.
You buy 2 books at.
No, if you
If you took out 2 books.
$25.
Oh.
If you went to Barnes and
Oh,
Noble,
I see what you're
and you
saying.
just bought 2 in a whole year.
The $50 is insignificant to have a
Yeah.
nice library. I understand. It's just a big issue around here, and I wondered why there was a fee, but now I understand. It's in a different county.
Right. It's a different county, which is why CAC is doing this, especially in this area, to really help people have access to no cost.
Because I'm on one of the chamber boards, and I always, this was a big question that came up all the time. People are really upset about having to pay $50, so they put in this little trailer library down the road, and it's like $50 for a year to have a fantastic library. I mean, come on, guys.
It's the area catching up, but now we're looking at in the Santan Valley area, the CAC campus going in, and that's going to have a library.
Yeah.
And so,
Wow.
and that's exciting. So, are you excited about the opportunity to sort of build that up from scratch?
Oh yeah, it's completely exciting. I mean, just to know that you guys are going to have you're going to have a campus and you're going to have a library. I mean, all of those things are amazing. SMC is getting a beautiful library, and in a couple of months, and Maricopa, that they will have the Maricopa campus, and right now they have some rammed earth walls up and metal exterior walls. It's gorgeous, and I'm really excited for CAC, but more so I'm excited for the community in order to have campuses that are near you, and you can take English 101 and 102. You can take all those things in order to get an associate's, but I mean, you can take swimming, and you can whatever it is that your campus is offering. I can't wait to take like yoga and make everybody pottery for Christmas. Everybody's getting pottery, just so they know, or jewelry or whatever. I mean, it's a way to keep enriching yourself.
How do you go about when we have these 2 new campuses, one in Maricopa and one in the Santan Valley? When you look at opening up a brand new facility, how do you do that? How do you plan that as a librarian?
Well, Well, we're starting to work on that right now. So you have to do basically an opening day collection. So when you open up, you've done all that selecting. So you have books, and each campus will have an area of study, whether it's nanotechnology or health sciences or whatever. But you need to make sure you have a collection that's going to back all those students and make sure that they're ready in order to do their research papers and learn. And a lot of effort is going to go into that. Right now, we're just trying to break out who's going to buy what and how are we going to strategize in order to get this accomplished, because historically we've had 3 libraries. Pretty soon we're going to have a whole lot more than that, and in a very short time frame. I mean, SMC is going to be done in a couple months. Maricopa is March 2013 it's what their estimated date is, and then Santan should be August 2013. So it's really close together. So it doesn't leave us a lot of time for error. We have to really make sure that we do this right and that students are prepared.
So there's a lot of planning that goes on physically when you set up a library and you look at where you place things. How much of an impact do you have? Do you go in and say, this is how we have to have this set up to basically best serve the students?
Well, I think it's a huge group effort. I mean,
Okay.
architects now, they've worked with libraries, and they know, like, you don't want to have dead spots, so you have people making out in the back corner. I mean, like, you can have a love connection at the library, but we don't need things going too far. So we need things for visibility, and so
That's another thing I never thought
intuitive.
about.
Oh, see, I always thought they said, I'm going to the library.
Right.
I don't know.
Wow.
Did you get a question there, Joe?
I did, Tom. Mary Beth, who's also a librarian in Santan Valley, says, why am I endorsing the library in Queen Creek? Because $50 is a lot of money to most people. Well, I'm really not. That was just a suggestion, and mentioning the library is okay. And I'm not downing the trailer library since I called it that. I'm sorry. She said it's really nice. Check it out. And if I've never been, don't deter people. So you know what? I'm not. Check out the Johnson Library place, and it's a great library, says Mary Beth. I have personally never been. I'm sure it's wonderful. But you do also have the one in Queen Creek if you want to pay $50.
I
mean, it's options.
They're all services. They're all services.
And I love all libraries.
And that's why CAC's doing what it's doing. Up in Apache Junction, the Superstition Mountain campus, the campus there was a library in there, but obviously with the new building going in, that's where the library is going to be moving to, and that's going to be the first of the new ones. Even it's really replacing the older one. When you order, is there going to be more space in there? And
it's going to be larger, and there's going to be a lot of seating area, and it's going to be like, you have like this computing commons type of learning center area and a coffee shop, and basically we're wanting people to come in and not only learn but spend their time.
So it's going to have a coffee shop in it? I didn't realize it. So it's going to be kind of like our own Barnes and Noble type of idea.
It's going to be really amazing.
Do you find that when you plan libraries, do you want people to stay, or do you want people to come in and take books and leave? I mean, is there kind of a philosophy on customers?
If you have a good, decent-sized space, you want them to stay. You want people to basically grow up with memories of, going to their library and reading or studying or doing whatever. What's hard for us is you want to be as popular as possible. You want people to be comfortable with you and ask you questions, but you don't want to. You want everybody to be respectful of each other. So I don't think it needs to be a silent space. It just needs to be one of those things where we're understanding that we're all in this building and we're good to each other.
One of the things growing up I used to like to do is obviously the periodicals, to go check them out. Sports Illustrated, these kind of different ones that I didn't get as a kid. I could go to the library and read them. I liked looking at newspapers from around the country to kind of see. But with the change in the technology and some of that information being available so readily online, has the philosophy changed for libraries on some periodicals?
Well, sure. There are some that, you have to look at usage. If things aren't being used, then I'm not going to waste your money on buying it. Now, if there's still things that you want this in print. College students still want to look at Rolling Stone, and we want that's kind of, some of it is a little bit of the candy, and you want to bring people in and let them become familiar with it because of that.
But there's definitely a limit
Yes.
to that, correct?
Yes. But it's all about your budget and us working within our budget and being good stewards of the public's funds.
I mean, but libraries, let's just say, because of, and I know you hate when I bring this up, but this is a valid thing. And don't get nervous, Tom. Let's just say because of the big medical marijuana laws going on, you wouldn't bring in like High Times magazine.
No. I mean, you do things that are appropriate and appropriate for your community and the
Gotcha.
library that you're at. Now, if it was in a different community where it seemed like 90% were supporting,
Right.
then you're like,
Gotcha.
well, this is what we do. This is
Well,
who we are.
we just had Rod calling from Dallas, which is interesting because he said we need to learn from your library model. We can't do any of the ordering or online stuff. What a great opportunity in Arizona for all. Great show. So, wow, they're way behind the times, apparently, or we're way ahead.
Oh, that's greatly appreciated, and it's a lot
For
of it is
sure.
about sort of the innovation and looking at how CAC integrates and works with the community. It's how have libraries changed in the last, say, 10 years? You really look at the electronic mediums that people use today. Obviously their habits have changed when they come in.
Well, what's interesting is that everybody, it depends on your age group. You fall in love with your iPad and your ebook, or you're still in that area where you're like, I like a paper book. I mean, honestly, I can't tell you all the stats from CAC, and for that I apologize. But I mean, like, I look at Coolidge's stats because that's where I was for the last 5 years. Now they went from 26,000 circs to 45 to 65 to 100. I mean, people are reading, and that's print. So as long as we're making sure that you have the things that you want to read in your format, then we're doing our jobs.
I know you spend all day on computers. I like to pick up a newspaper. I like to go to different cities and just pick up the newspaper and just kind of read. And maybe being a former editor, I kind of like to look at how their layout is and how it's changed. I can look at a newspaper and tell right away they trimmed down the sides to save money. And I like reading certain kind of magazines. I don't want to look at a computer. I get tired of that. I want to be able to lay on the couch and do it. I don't want to look at a laptop or a pad or a tablet or whatever. I just want to kind of have the, No,
I agree, and I think our job is hard in some ways because you want to make all those formats accessible. So for the person that wants to have a magazine online, we have that, and for the person that says, I really love this, and we want to make sure that you can have that as well. So certain things, as long as it's popular, well, we might carry it in both, or we might just have it in an ebook, or and really it's just trying to make sure we have what our population wants.
We are talking with Audrey Saavedra from Central Arizona College, the new director of library services. Audrey, how much in a library is there damage? And I guess and it's not, I'm not saying damage that people are purposely damaging items. I'm sure that happens some places, but use, exactly. And do you have to plan for replacing that? Do you replace that? I mean, you look at magazines and the covers after a while are pretty beat up.
But those are produced every month, and we understand that. And by the time that it's no longer popular, you're ready to probably put that in the recycle bin. Where books, if you know it's going to be popular, you just have to know that then that's great. A bunch of people have read this, and we're going to continue to replace it and buy a new one, because that's fine. The last thing I want is a bunch of books that you buy and nobody wants it, and it's in pristine condition. Like, what's the use in that?
Right.
Does that also dictate how many copies of a book that you purchase for the library, or is it always just one? I guess that's something I never thought about.
Do you take donation books if they're in good shape?
Yeah, we take donations. I mean, I think every library out there takes donations. So if people want to donate to their libraries, I don't want to get other people in trouble, but I'm sure it's fine.
Here's an interesting one for you, and we're getting a lot of reach today. Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Nancy Percy says her daughter's a librarian. Their library checks out iPads. She said, really great show. Thanks for caring about our national libraries enough to have it on the air. Love the show.
Wow, that's great. That's terrific.
Yeah,
it's
not a normal topic.
No, it's not, and it's about service to the community, and especially what people probably don't realize that Pinell County, and I come from the East Coast, we've talked about that a number of times, but Pinell County is almost as big as the state of Connecticut. So you think about the number of counties that are in the state of Connecticut, and then you look at Pinell County. For you, Audrey, you're servicing a huge area just for the college itself. So I'm sure you have to go out and look at the different communities and see what do communities need different things? I mean, it seems like an obvious question, but...
Well, sure. I mean, there are books, like right now, I think in Mammoth, they're getting very into juicing. So there's like all the juicing DVDs and the books, and everybody there is starting to, kind of discover the whole juicing craze. So, right now they're pumping up their collection in those ways. And everybody has something different, but that's why I'm so excited about this partnership with the Pinell County Library District. It's just making sure that we're not duplicating a lot of stuff and we're sharing. I mean, that to me is brilliant, because then I don't have to worry so much about what one person in this area wanted if we've already got it and we just send it to you.
That's interesting. So it's a way to economically expand your collection by partnering with community libraries.
So sharing all our music, or not illegally, of course, but I mean, it's sharing. So
at CAC's library, can people take out DVDs?
What
do you have? Movies, music, educational, or how does that all work?
We have documentaries and just sort of fun DVDs, and I mean a lot of those things. I mean, so basically, I'm kind of a nerd, and I think that documentaries are fun and awesome, and I watch them for enjoyment. But I mean, some people do and some people don't. There's a lot of foreign films, and I mean, if it's something on Shakespeare, you might like it or you might not. But there's a lot of just fun stuff. Whether it was like Donnie Darko or nothing's coming to mind right now. I have no idea why. But no, there's normal, fun DVDs that, I mean, especially I want students from the dorm to come and check them out and then check us out and know that we're there to help them. I think we just got another call. Joe, you want to jump in here?
Yeah, Mark Weston from Avondale says, can I get on a list looking for, he likes a few titles of magazines for when they're ready to be recycled. He could come down and pick them up so he can enjoy them so he doesn't have to order them.
I think he could call his Avondale Public Library and ask that question. I can just tell you, at the Coolidge Public Library, when we were done, we just had a free pile, and people periodically came in to see what was in the free pile. But for every library, that's different.
So specifically CAC, if you're going to recycle them, he can't get on the list.
Does he want to drive down?
I don't know.
It's a pretty far drive.
But he's listening, so
I'm not sure.
He must really, really like these titles.
Yeah.
I would suggest exactly what Audrey said, is check out your local public library and see that those are probably that's probably.
But you know what, Mark? That was a really good question.
It is a good
Thank
question.
you from Avondale. Thank you, Mark.
You're listening to CAC Live. Tom D. Camillo along with Joe Carrera. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll wrap up with Audrey Saavedra, the new Director of Library Services at Central Arizona College.
Got termites gnawing on your house? Do you have a pest problem in or around your home or your business? At Lights Out Exterminating, we provide either the solution or preventative measure to take care of your pest problems that stem from ants, crickets, cockroaches, spiders, and scorpions. Lights Out Exterminating provides superior pest and termite control at affordable prices for a wide array of desert pests. Scorpion control can be difficult. At Lights Out Exterminating, their service is based off right products at the right time. Find out how much more effective scorpion control can be when you turn the lights out. Don't hesitate. Lights Out Exterminating is the one to call. Over 12 years experience, you will receive superior service at affordable prices. Call 480-365-8177. Ask about our discounts for military personnel. Remember, Lights Out Exterminating. Hey, we're gonna get to do another one bites the dust. Are you ready to start taking control of your future and maximize your earning potential? Central Arizona College has smaller class sizes and personalized attention to help you compete in today's tough job market. CAC now serves Santan Valley and Queen Creek. The CAC Santan Center is located in the shops at Copper Basin on Hunt Highway, behind Barrow's Pizza. Stop in and see how taking classes at CAC costs a fraction of a state university, and your credits can transfer So, if you want to earn real money, you need to learn real skills at Central Arizona College. Enroll in classes today by calling 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu or call 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu. Central Arizona College, your college, your way.
Do you feel like you keep talking and no one cares? Well, Brian Martin does. Every Thursday from 6 to 8 on CAClive. Politics, world leaders, who's good, who's bad. He'll be there to talk with you. Brian Martin on CAClive every Thursday from 6 to 8.
Life can be tough, and good people can face great challenges. My name is Mark Windsor, and I'm an experienced attorney and counselor at law. I've helped many good people work through financial struggles and regain financial stability and prosperity. It can be overwhelming dealing with creditors, the frustrations of a loan modification, struggling with the stress of a short sale. Sometimes your decisions can lead to risks down the road that you couldn't foresee without a trusted counselor on your side. At times, even bankruptcy must be carefully considered. At Windsor Law Group, we understand the stress you are under, and we provide compassionate professional advice so you can decide the best path back to financial security and prosperity. Call us at 480-505-7044 or check us out at windsorlaw.com, WINSORLAW.com. Mention you heard us on the radio and get a discount on your initial consultation.
Are you planning on starting a new business in this economy? As a new business, you know you'll need to watch every single dollar. Before you make any decisions on phone service, call Zentris Communications at 1-877-ZENTRIS. That's 1-877-936-8727.
We're live in the Santan Valley. Tom D. Camillo, Joe Carrero, and this is CAC Live. We have a few minutes left with our guest, Audrey Saavedra from Central Arizona College, the Director of Library Services. And we've had calls throughout the country.
Good calls, too.
It's been interesting. And really, library services have changed dramatically. And we talked a little bit about what CAC has planned, and we want to clarify a couple things. We don't want people just dropping off their books right now.
Yes.
So.
Not donations either. So if you have donations for your library, please call and see if they accept them. Most do, but just be careful. And this is a new partnership with Pinal County Library District. So we haven't converted yet. We don't have a courier yet. So if we can just get everything moving, and then we'll see how the public and the Santan Center, for example, would work together. We'll have to iron out some of those things.
Yeah, and it's the planning stages, and it's a conversion that's going on now. So once it's up and running, we'll publicize that to the community. But it is a service that's coming out there for CAC, along with the new libraries at the campuses. It's got to be exciting at this time. Do you go to a conference with librarians across the country, and is that an event that happens?
Yes. You basically, librarians will go to several different conferences. I mean, there's your state, there's AZLA, there's PLA, which is for public libraries, and then there's ALA, which is academic and public, and all of those things mixed in one. And when you have them, basically, you'll have thousands upon thousands of librarians that take over a city, and we can pick each other out and go meet for dinner or whatever. The last PLA was in Philadelphia in March.
My hometown.
Mm-hmm. And
I heard you had cheesesteaks.
I had cheesesteaks and lots of Italian food for days.
It's hard to eat cheesesteaks over a book because they do drip out, and you could damage them pretty good.
Yeah, we separate the books and the hearty food.
Did you get the chance to go to the library in Philadelphia, the big one?
Yeah.
It's
that one must be awesome.
I think
they're amazing. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about traveling or conferences that you get to do.
You would never think to I'm going to go library hopping right now.
I think Ben Franklin started that library, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
I think
Really?
Ben Franklin. Well, he started University of Pennsylvania, so I mean that's it goes back. I mean, a lot of history back in the East Coast.
Well, we got a really, really cool one here. Lloyd from Freeport, Bahamas. I think that's our first Freeport, Bahamas. And Lloyd says he knows everybody out there because they have a private library at their estate. They have 34,716 books. Librarians go totally unappreciated. Love your librarian.
That's
Nice.
great.
I
So
mean,
That's
is that a lot of
beautiful.
books?
34,000. That's a good collection.
That's a good private library at his home
No, that's a
or
great
his
collection.
estate.
Yes.
But he gets to know everyone that way. That's pretty sweet.
that's
smart.
That is. Or is something we didn't touch on? And at CAC, the institution's been around for a little over 40 years. How do you protect books? How do you keep them from over the course of time of degrading? Is there, especially ones that are out of print, you can't get again?
Well, hopefully, if it's out of print and you still really want it for the collection, it's still useful. You actually have like workshops on mending books and putting special glue and things like that. But for the most part, once the information is out of date, you can kind of replace it with something newer.
No. Okay.
So, I mean, like we do have like a CAC archive going on, but the library itself isn't totally into archiving. I mean, you have to make room for the new stuff and let go of some of the most fallen apart, out of dated stuff.
I would imagine big city libraries that have like a Philadelphia library that goes back to the Revolutionary War and before then. That have archival stuff that are in vaults that they have to be careful and take care of that
There's
stuff.
going to be temperature controls. There's going to be issues of handling. I mean, people might make you wear gloves before you can touch it, or maybe you can't even touch it. I mean, there's special collections.
Yeah,
everywhere.
that library I told you that I went and saw the other day, they have a whole bunch of acid-free, special, non-latex gloves that you have to wear. They're long. As soon as you go in there, you have to put them on. It's mandatory. It's wild.
I worked at the Center for Creative Photography Library at the U of A, and they had a rare books room where if you wanted to sign something out, people from all over the country came there. If you wanted to sign something out, they literally had to sit at a desk in front of you and then view their books, so you knew that they weren't damaging or stealing pages out of them, or and it was kind of a funny thing.
Have you ever seen the library at the old library we have here at the court?
No.
Well, if you ever want to, let me know seriously, and I'll make a call.
I
And
think that would be awesome.
it's absolutely. I was never a library like buff or anything, but it was really, really interesting. I'd love to take my kids there too. Hey, really quick, Marcy from Casa Grande, and I'm assuming she's from CAC because she said, welcome, and we're excited to have you at CAC. You are wonderful.
Thank you.
So you have a
Marcy.
fan. You can sign autographs now.
That's right. Now you have a fan club.
Well, Audrey, wanted to thank you. This hour's flown by. We got a lot of great calls, and we really look forward to having you on again once the libraries are open and we can talk about the services and as the people in the community can tap into these services. It's really an exciting time at Central Arizona College.
Yeah, I'm very excited for CAC and all of their students.
So, Audrey Saavedra from Central Arizona College, our guest today. The next 2 weeks, Joe, I'm going to be out of town, and Dan Bush will be on. He's got some special guests, and he'll take over the show for the next 2 weeks, and he'll
be in the big seat.
He'll be in the big seat.
Right on.
So, for Audrey and for Joe Carrera, I'm Tom Camillo. Thanks for listening to CAC Live on CAClive.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Ann Borick from Doc Talk Radio. Listen every day to KQCK Live Radio for a variety of shows, music, and local news.
Hi, Marie here for wannasing.com. Are you looking for professional DJ or karaoke services for your next holiday party or get-together? wannasing.com can provide the best in sound, lighting, and a professional MC to host your next event. Whether it be a company party, birthday party, wedding, or any occasion, wannasing.com is ready to provide the fun and make it a night to remember for years to come. Call 480-664-8801. That's 480 888-664-8801. Mention this radio ad and receive a special discount for your next fun event. Wannasing.com.
A multi-mix of the best hits from the 70s to the 90s. Now another 5 in a row. Commercial free. Commercial free.